Hey yogis, good Monday evening. Welcome to another live stream from my home, and join me for another home yoga practice. Let's come to a seated position, easy seat. So unroll your mat and go ahead and sit down. My name's Lorelei, for those of you who don't know me. Or maybe like a nice yoga class that you can just take from the comfort of your own home. These classes are donation based. Obviously we're on YouTube, so everything's free, but if you are willing to donate a little something to it, the way to do that is in the description of this video. So let me know if you have any questions or comments about that. But let's just start with a seat so that we can just, get ourselves prepared for the class to come. Set up your shoulders over your hips, let your head float up on top of your neck, close your eyes, and take a moment here to tune into your breathing. Let's actually start tonight with a little bit of yin stretching. So yin is what we do like when we're not engaging our muscles. It's much more passive, and it actually can be done before your body is warmed up. It's not targeting the muscles the way activated stretching is, or more, I don't know, more, I guess, yang stretching would be. But it actually can target things like connective tissue and joints. So we're just going to come to half butterfly. So you can keep your left leg in and take the right leg out. And instead of like toning your quad or flexing your foot, you're going to keep your leg really relaxed and then just angle and lean your body towards the leg. But this isn't where we want to push or pull or try to press ourselves to our leg in any way. We kind of just gently lean in and allow gravity to do all the work that is being done here. In general, yin poses are also held for a little bit longer so that your body has a chance to respond and open up to whatever's going on here. So we might be here a few more breaths than we usually would be. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then coming up slowly and carefully, we're just going to change to the other side, to the other leg. So you can take your left leg out and tuck your right leg in. So this is half butterfly in yin. You might know it from regular yoga as Janu Shirshasana. It's really the same shape, but the difference is kind of the approach. So again, we're not going to flex the foot or engage the leg or try to pull ourselves down in any way. There's no need to try to reach for your foot. You can just let yourself sink down into the pose. And notice where you feel the stretch here. So it could be, it might just be your hamstring, but you might notice it in other parts of your body. I sometimes in this one actually notice it along the side of like my back on the other side, but that just might be because I have a stiff back or a back that gives me some issues. But just see where you notice it in your hips, in your leg, where. And then just breathe. And then coming up from that side, nice and easy. Let's go ahead and move to hands and knees, and we can take some cat-cow stretches. So set up, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Inhale, head and tail, lift, chest and belly drop. Exhale, going the other way. This is a great place to bring in your ujjayi if you haven't done that already. So start to allow your breath to move rhythmically, and then just see if your body can follow the breath. Next time you exhale, let's go ahead and bring the hips back for child's pose. Inhale back up to hands and knees. And then this time, exhale to down dog. So tuck toes, lift knees and hips, move the heart back. Inhale back to hands and knees, and you can sway the back here as well for cow. Exhale, child's pose, and we'll just alternate a few more times here on the exhales between child's pose and downward facing dog. So we're starting off slow and easy, just giving our body a chance to kind of wake up, warm up, get used to moving. If you're like me and you sit at a desk for your day job, or I don't know, if you sit in a car or whatever it is, if you're doing something sedentary, I just think sometimes a gentle transition is going to be a little easier than trying to launch right in to the hardcore stuff. All right, well, next time you get back to downward facing dog, let yourself hold there and then just take a little time to work out the pose any way you like to warm it up. So maybe bending one knee, let the opposite leg straighten, switch to the other side. Rooting down with the hands, really elongating the upper body. Lift the elbows up away from the ground and press your chest back. And then let's take the left foot to the center line, take the right leg up, open the hip and bend the knee, point the knee to the sky, twist that low body for a moment here. And then when you're ready, step the right foot all the way forward, top of the mat, knee over ankle, lower the left knee down, extend your back foot behind you and come up for a low lunge. Reach the arms into the air. And then bringing the hands back to the mat in front of you, let's straighten up the front leg and pull the toes back. So gentle Ardha Hanumanasana. You can keep the front knee pretty soft, pull the toes back towards you and gently fold. So Ardha Hanumanasana meaning half split. So Ardha is the half. Hanumanasana is the name of the splits pose in yoga. And then go ahead, press the right foot back down, tuck the left toes under, float the back knee up. You're in more of a high lunge now. Plant the left palm and take the right arm into the air for an easy twist. Look up to your lifted thumb. And then turn to the mat. Let's step to plank. So your left leg is already there. We really shouldn't need to move the shoulders or the hips. Do your best to just slide that right foot back to join the left, leveling out. Know your tendencies. Know if you tend to sag the hips or lift the hips up high, and really trying to find that way to level out so the center is strong. That's the work of the pose. If you need to modify it with knees on the ground because it's too hard to hold the whole body, you can do that. But working level rather than adjusting by lifting the hips high or sagging them low. And then lowering down, and again, knees down first. It makes that upper body from knees to shoulders a little easier to manage as you bend the elbows, bring your chest to the floor, extend the feet, and let's take a couple breaths in Cobra. It could also be Sphinx. So if that would feel better to you, you could have forearms on the floor. Cobra could be a baby cobra, just using the upper back to lift. Or if you're ready, come up into regular cobra, but avoid that temptation to kind of lock your arms and shove your shoulders towards your ears. Rather, keep the shoulders soft and the elbows as well. And then let's go back to downward facing dog. Root down with the hands, lift the hips up. Okay, so let's do that whole little sequence on the other side. Take the right foot to the center line and then take the left leg up, open the hip and bend the knee. Point the knee to the sky for a couple breaths. Look forward and step forward with that left foot. Top of the mat. Right knee's going to go down. So we're in a low lunge. And I didn't mention this on the first side, but if you need to, you can pad that back knee. Reach the arms up, sink the hips forward, and you might find some back bending here, but listen to what your body would like. All right, now fingertips down, Ardha Hanumanasana. So bringing the hips back over the back knee, pop onto the left heel, pull the toes back, and just a gentle fold here. So don't make it the deepest forward fold you've ever done. We did do a little bit of that at the beginning when we were still sitting, so we might be more ready for it, but it's still early. And then letting the left foot come back down, tuck your right toes, float the right knee off the ground, plant the right palm, take the left arm up, easy twist. And hands to the mat, step to plank. Lower down, all in one piece, or knees first. Inhale, cobra pose again, and exhale, downward facing dog. Just take a couple more breaths here to rest, trying to lengthen as you inhale, deepen as you exhale. And then look to the top of the mat, step, walk, or hop the feet forward. And let's just take a few breaths in dangling. Soft knees, feet can be about hip distance apart. Let your upper body hang down. And if the hands naturally hit the ground, you might grab opposite elbows so that they don't. Nod or shake the head a little bit, nice and gentle. Maybe sway the torso. Keep it easy. And then keeping the knees soft, release your elbows and start to stack your spine. Coming all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders back and down. All right, let's walk the feet together. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Setting up in Tadasana here. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. And then exhale, let your palms come together in front of the heart. Close the eyes just for a moment. Tune into your Ujjayi breath. Maybe engage the muscles of the legs. Get that low body alignment nice and strong. We're going to flow into some sun A's here now to get ourselves moving more consistently with the breath, a little bit more full body. When you're ready, open the eyes. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive to Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step to plank, lowering Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra, or it could be up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and hold. About 5 breaths to hold in down dog. Though as we go through a series of these, if you like to hold your down dog for just 1 breath, or somewhere in the middle between 1 and 5, make that your own. We'll flow with the breath. Inhale, look forward when you're ready. Exhale, step, walk, or lightly hop. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold, root down to rise up, reversing the swan dive, and palms together. pace of your own breath. Let's just take a few more here. So taking maybe one more round here, we're going to meet at the top of the mat. So complete your next cycle. And then we'll come and meet just in Tadasana. You can hold for a couple breaths if you're already there. Take your time if you're still working through the sequence. And you can stand with palms together, or if you like, arms can be next to your sides with palms facing forward. And then the next pose we're going to go into is chair pose. So from here, Utkatasana. The knees should just bend right out over the toes as the hips drop down towards the floor, and then arms alongside the ears, making that zigzag shape. Now we're going to stand on the right foot and step the left foot back for crescent pose, high lunge. Lift the upper body once you get to the lunge. Bending that front knee deeply, straightening out the back leg. Steady your gaze ahead of you. Now the left palm is going to plant, right arm up. We're back in our easy twist here. But this time, we're going to use it to transition to side plank on the left. So when you're ready, rolling to the outer edge of your left foot, and then stepping or working that right foot back to stack, lift the hips, lift the top arm, lift the gaze to the top thumb if you can, and breathe. And then turning right to the mat, you're in plank, so you can take a vinyasa. Of course, you can always skip vinyasas at this stage if you need to, and just head straight back to downward facing dog. Rest briefly. And then looking forward, step, walk, or hop forward from the top of the mat. We'll take chair pose again. So bend the knees, sink the hips. Big toes should be touching, but the heels are slightly apart here. Sink the hips low. You should feel this as work in your quads, but it shouldn't be hurting your knees. Now, standing on the left foot, the right one's going to send back. Ball of the back foot, Still bending that front knee, bring your torso upright, crescent pose. And then take the right hand down inside the left foot, left arm up, easy twist, stabilize through the shoulders, through the collarbones, and then rolling to the outer edge of the right foot, move the left foot back for side plank on this second side. Turn to the floor, travel through vinyasa. Breathe in down dog. All right, let's take the right leg up. Try to keep the hip nice and square as you keep the thigh facing the floor. Nice down dog split. Up, here's the sirens. We're going to get them at least once per class. Bring your knee to chest, shoulders forward over the wrists. Stabilize. Inhale, lift the leg up again, and this time we're going to step forward for warrior one. So let your back heel pivot down now, just slightly different from the crescent pose we were just in. But notice that the back heel down tends to want to pull the left hip with it. So guide your left hip forward, trying to keep the hips square to the front of the mat. Reach the arms up, lunge deep. I was recording a class this weekend, another minimal cues, and there were plenty of sirens outside of my window, which is always fun with the minimal cues. You can't really cover them up. I try to edit them out in the sound room, but you know, we do what we can. All right, let's take the arms out. We're going to go to eagle pose. So cross the left arm under the right, lift the elbows, and then transfer your weight to that right foot and cross the left leg over the right. But try to keep the right knee bent here in transition, because that's what we want it to be doing in eagle. Lift the elbows, sink the hips. And then from here, simply unwinding the limbs, chair pose, and we can take a vinyasa to return to down dog. Simple sequence here, just a couple of poses in it. We'll take the left leg into the air, so square hip down dog split. Now knee to chest, let the shoulders come forward over the wrists. Inhale, lift the leg back up, and exhale, step it to the top of the mat. Right heel pivots down. Come on up for your warrior one on the second side. So I should have another minimal cues practice for you by, probably not this week, but next week. I'll need the weekend to edit through it. Hello, whoever has joined. Welcome. All right, now from here, from warrior one, we're going to go to eagle. So take the arms out, and then the right arm's going to go under the left, lift the elbows, and then the right leg is going to go over the left. Keep your left knee bent. Find your balance, steady your gaze, sink the hips. And then another chair pose here, Utkatasana, and make your way through vinyasa back to down dog. All right, whoever was watching is no longer here, so I'm alone live streaming, but I'm sure that those of you who are listening to me now are watching at another time. So thanks for joining me whenever you are joining me. Root down with the hands, lift the hips up, heart back. I wanted to do this live stream because I think sometimes it really is nice to have an appointment on your calendar to come to a yoga class. But I also like that this is
available for you later after the fact as well. Sometimes it's also helpful for me to have an appointment on my calendar to make sure that I am doing my yoga with you. Even if it is later for you, it still feels like it's with you while I'm here now. Next, inhale, look to the top of the mat. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet forward. Half lift and fold. And let's reverse swan dive. Come on up. We're going to step out wide for Prasarita Padottanasana. So taking this wide-legged forward fold stance, bring your hands to your hips, and then allow yourself to come on down. Hands to the mat, head hangs heavy. Try to line up fingers and toes if you can. Lift the quads, open the backs of the legs, and shift your weight slightly forward towards the balls of the feet so your heels feel light. And then rooting down with your feet, bring your hands to your waist, come back up. We're going to turn the right toes open, pivoting on the heel. Turn the left toes a little towards the right. Inhale, reach the arms, and hey, let's go into a warrior two here. So lunge into that front knee. Look out over the right fingertips. Breathe. And reverse your warrior, stretching back, still lunging forward. From here, let's take it to a balance. So we're going to kind of float into a half moon. Right fingers to the floor ahead of your foot. Step up off the left foot. Bring it into the air and push through that lifted heel. Left hand could be on your hip to help you get the hip to stack over the bottom one. Or once you feel like your shoulders are stacked, you can take your left arm up. My head's like behind all of the plants here. Maybe not. I feel like I'm in a jungle. All right, and then from here, we're going to take the left foot down behind us and step to pyramid. So we're not going to take it back as far as if it was a lunge. The front leg can stay straight and just fold towards your right leg. Try to level out the hips, and this might be hard because we just were going from open hips, so maybe bring your hand to your tailbone and use that as a little bit of a guide. And then we're going to just bend into the front knee, step the back foot forward, chair pose, Utkatasana. And take a vinyasa. Make your way back to down dog. And if you're facing the other end of the mat like I am, doesn't really matter because we're at home. There's no front, there's no back. On an inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet. Half lift. Fold, Uttanasana. And then reverse the swan dive, bring yourself up. Let's step out wide again, and we'll do a second variation of Prasarita. So I always like the one with the hands interlaced behind the back, but if there's another version you prefer, you could do that, like grabbing big toes or something. Shoulders back if you're doing this one. Try to keep the shoulder blades together and down your back as you fold. But once you get to the fold part, you can let the arms begin to reach over. See if you can find a nice stretch for your shoulder socket. Let your head hang down. Lift the quads, open the backs of the legs. And then root down, bring yourself up again nice and easy. Turn the left toes open, turn the right toes a little in, bring the arms up, inhale, and exhale, press the palms down as you lunge into warrior two on the left. I love this idea of bringing the arms down because if you bring them up, they feel heavy and your shoulders are like hiking. If you bring them down, they feel light and your shoulders can relax. It's kind of in the head, but it's also kind of in the movement that got you here.
This one's giving in to gravity. The other one is trying to resist gravity. You'll feel it in your shoulders. At least I do. Turn the front palm up. Reverse your warrior. Stretch it back. All right, and then we're going to step into half moon pose on the other side. Transfer your weight, float the right leg up, maybe top arm is up as well, or it could be you're bringing that hand to your hip. Now we're going to move to pyramid, but we're going to kind of have to close down the hips, right? So we're going to plant the right toes behind us, drop to the right heel, and then maybe the right hand comes to the tailbone and just checks to see if things are level-ish, and then fold over the left leg. And then stepping the right foot up to join the left, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Follow your breath through a vinyasa to get to down dog. And let's then, when we get to down dog, let's just do a nice little dancing warrior flow. So from down dog, inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it to the top of the mat. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, open to two. Inhale, reverse your warrior, and then let's hold for a few breaths in the extended side angle. Right forearm to thigh, left arm overhead, bringing it alongside the ear with the palm facing downward. And then when you're ready to leave that pose, we're just going to complete the sequence with a vinyasa. Reach back on an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. And extended side on the left. What are some poses you really would love for me to include next week in our flow sequence? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can put a sequence together that includes your favorite poses. Inhale, reach back, and exhale, take a vinyasa. This is very simple sequencing tonight, so give me some inspiration. All right, breathe here. And then from downward facing dog, let's inhale, look forward. Exhale, step walker, hop the feet forward. Half lift and fold. And then let's reverse swan dive, come on up. Let's move into warrior three. So we're gonna stand on the right foot and then go ahead and just lean in on that left, or with the left foot in the air. Try to level out your body with the ground. So theoretically, the torso is moving down at the same rate your leg is moving up, so that there's like a yardstick through our leg to our torso. Imagine that, if you can. If your arms don't work in that line, though, you can bring the palms to press together in front of the heart, and that works as well. Now from here, we're going to bend the front knee and just step back easily to warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse, and then let's straighten up that front leg and take a triangle pose. Exhale, find your way into it. Like I said, we're working with some basics tonight, but I mean, you can absolutely get a wonderful, strong practice using your basic poses. And then on an inhale, reach it back. And let's go ahead and come to a standing split. So now fingertips to the floor ahead of the right foot. Let the left leg reach up into the air. Fold towards the right. You know, there should be a big difference in the look and feel of standing split versus warrior three. I know there are some similarities, and some of us can't get that leg higher in a standing split than we have it in a warrior three. But in a warrior three, we're trying to lift up away from the ground with the torso and level out. In standing split, we're really trying to fold our body towards our standing leg a lot. So, you know, there are intentional differences, even if it may not look that different. Step back with the left foot, plant the palms, and take a vinyasa. Of course, you can skip these vinyasas too if you just don't feel like doing very many of them tonight. Absolutely, you can focus on the standing poses. And then inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet. Half lift. Fold, Uttanasana. Reverse the swan dive. And then we're going to go into warrior three on the other side. So left leg. And then obviously, instead of trying to fold all the way down with the torso, we want to come down, right? We don't want to still be upright, but we want to stop at the halfway point and then try to reach the head forward and level out and lengthen. And if the arms are able to continue that line, great. But if they can't, for whatever reason, you can bring palms together in front of the heart. If you're doing that, try to keep your shoulder blades on the back so you're not rounding your back to get the palms together. Now, bending the front knee, step back as long as you can to land softly in warrior one. Inhale, exhale to warrior two. Inhale, reverse that warrior, and then straightening out the front leg, let's move into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Now on an inhale, stretch it back, and then here let's go to our standing split on the left. Fingertips on the mat, fold towards the left, lift up the right. All right, step back long. And take a vinyasa. We're going to do one more standing pose sequence here. So we're going to start like our dancing warrior. So from down dog, inhale the right leg up, exhale to step it forward. Inhale, warrior one, follow the breath. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle, and here's where we're going to add on. We're going to float into revolve half moon. So the left fingers, that's that arm that's up, are going to come down ahead of your right foot, and then float the left leg up. See if you can turn the body and take the right arm up. Now from here, we're already rotated. We're going to come to a revolve triangle. See if you can keep your front leg pretty straight as you pop your left toes down, left heel down, slide your left fingers back, keep the twist. Right arm might have just stayed up that whole time. All right, and then from here, let's actually step to chair pose at the top of the mat. So bend your right knee, bring your left knee to join it, Utkatasana. And then make your way through vinyasa, back to down dog. We can do the other side. Take your time. I'm definitely modifying all these vinyasas at this point, so feel free to modify or skip. Inhale the left leg up, starting like a dancing warrior. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale to two. Inhale, reverse.
Exhale, extended side angle. And then we're going to move into our revolve half moon. So the right fingers are going to come to the floor and the right leg's going to pop up. As you rotate your body, the left arm reaches up. All right, and then slowly setting your right toes down, right heel down, right fingers back. You're in revolve triangle. So these are the twists on our poses, but still all kind of classic standing poses. And then top of the mat, chair, and another vinyasa. Okay, holding, breathing in down dog. So it's about a half an hour of flow here. So we're gonna move into some other types of poses. So let's take knees down and set up for dolphin. So elbows under shoulders, you can root your forearms down, interlace the fingers, and then tuck your toes. Once you've got those arms rooted, tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips, and move the heart back. If you want, walk the feet in, and really what we're trying to do is get the hips over the shoulders. So we don't want to shove the shoulders forward because then it's harder to get the hips over them, but we're still pushing the shoulders back but getting the hips high. And maybe take the right leg into the air, lift that leg all the way up. Head hangs down heavy. It shouldn't be touching the ground or your hands or your arms. Slowly take your right toes down, and then left leg up. Reach it up, reach it up. And slowly lower those toes down. Take your knees wide and your hips to your heels. And sit back for child's pose. All right, that's it. We're done. Just kidding. Oh, sometimes you get your head on the floor and you're like, ooh, I could just sleep. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. So we're sort of in the winding down stages. Let's take another dolphin, or at this point, if you would like to do a headstand, that's what I'm going to suggest. So either dolphin, keep it basic, lift the legs if you want to take little hops, or if you want to practice a forearm balance, again, please be safe. Same with headstand, safety first, but if you would like to go into a full inversion, let's take a short time here to do that. And if you're like, you know what, I just want to stay in child's pose for the next minute, be my guest, and please do. No rush here, but what goes up must come down. So at some point when you're ready to leave your inversion, bring yourself out slowly, carefully, counterbalancing where you need to. And then let's go ahead and maybe stack your fists, place your forehead on your fists for this little variation of child's pose here. Okay. And then let's go ahead and bring the knees together, feet a little apart, and sit back for Virasana. This is hero pose. And if you're not able to sit fully on the floor between your feet, you could sit on a block or a folded blanket or towel, or truly you could just sit on your feet for now. We're not going to be here that long. But if your sit bones are down, You might choose to walk yourself back. Maybe come to your forearms, puff your chest up, let your head come back. I feel like I'm getting the hiccups here, I don't know why. Or you could lay flat if that feels okay to you, but laying flat really should only be done if your hips are truly resting fully on the mat. All right, and then carefully support yourself to come back up if you made your way down. And we're gonna undo the legs, bring the feet to the floor. And we're gonna lower back for bridge pose. So slide your heels to slightly away from your hips or hips towards the heels, but we want a little gap between them. And then let's just do it this way today. So let's take the upper arms to the ground and like make these little robot arms so your fingers are pointing to the ceiling. Press down with your feet, and then lift your hips up and then roll up through the spine. And if you're able to kind of rock your shoulders underneath you, great, but otherwise just use the upper arms and the feet to try to get your chest up. Don't let the knees go too wide, but try to get the hips as high as the knees if possible. They may not be all the way there, but that's our aim. And then slowly get the shoulders out of the way and roll your spine back down, one vertebra at a time. We're gonna do one more back bend. If you're feeling a wheel, this is the time. I actually might try one and see how it feels. But if you're not feeling the wheel, then go ahead and stick with the bridge pose. Just take another one of those. But wheel, hands need to be planted flat on the floor and elbows need to be pointed towards the ceiling. If the elbows are going wide and the thumbs are lifting up, you're not really gonna have the support you need to be safe in this pose. So you wanna have those hands planted flat. Try not to let the toes turn out. Press the feet down, roll to the top of the head, and then plug your shoulders deeper in, and then straighten up the limbs to come up. Breathe, make sure you can still breathe. Sometimes I will wheel, sometimes I won't. It's challenging. And for me at 52, it's more challenging than it used to be. But sometimes it really does feel good afterwards. So I feel like you have to make your own cost-benefit analysis. Come to the back of your head and roll down. It should never be painful or excruciating in any way, but the effort required, sometimes it pays off and sometimes it's just not gonna, and that's okay too. Let's take once you've come down, let's take the right knee into the chest, take the left leg out straight, and then use the left hand to pull the right leg over for a nice twist. Turn your head to the right and reach your right arm out. And then let's switch it up, coming back through center. Left knee in, right leg straight, twist to your, the left leg's gonna go to the right, but the torso, the head, is gonna turn to the left. And come on back to center. Grab hold of the shins and let's roll shoulders to hips all the way up. And we're gonna try to land in boat pose. So see if you can land on your sit bones without the feet coming to the ground. Do your best there. Boat. And then feet to the mat, hands behind you. Let's take a little reverse table here. Lift the hips up as high as the knees, chin in or head back. This is another like sort of back bend. It's not really because we're not rounding, but it does feel like a stretch for the front of the body. And then bringing the sit bones back down again. Let's take another boat pose. So however you want to set yourself up, we're coming at this one from already being on our sit bones. So find your way in. And then bring your feet down and let's come to squat malasana. Just because it is its own category of yoga poses, I do often, most of the time, like to throw in an arm balance, and crow is just the simplest one to add in my opinion. So you can stay with malasana with a squat if you want, or if you want to play with crow pose today. Bringing your elbows, or not your elbows, really, because if your elbows are under your knees, oh my gosh, it's going to be so wobbly. So if you can bring the upper arms under the shins, and I know getting there may be the challenge, but once you're there, you have so much more anchoring and stability. So upper arms under shins, and then plant the palms, and then all that it is about is shifting the weight. You're going to need to lift up your heels and start to move the center of gravity over the wrist. So play with this. See where it takes you today. I know sometimes we have slippery pants on that slip off of our arms or sweaty arms and legs, but do your best. See where your body is today. And then when you come out of that, let's go ahead and parallel the feet and take a good Padahastasana just to release those wrists. And then let's take the hands out from underneath the feet slowly. Bend the knees again and roll up to stand. All the way up on an inhale if you can. And then exhale, dive down. Let's do that 2 more times. Bend the knees. If this makes you lightheaded, just stay in your forward fold. But it might feel good to really rise up here and lengthen after we've been on our backs. 1 more time. And then we're going to go ahead and come to a seat. So we're going to do a little bit more stretching here, but here's what I'm going to suggest today. So we're going to walk the right foot out, lean back, and cross the left ankle onto the thigh. So this is going to be our hip opener, but I'm going to give it a deeper version if this isn't enough for you. If you've got your left ankle on your right thigh, you've got 2 ways that you can move deeper into this. So one is just moving your chest towards your shin using your hands behind you to press. The other is sliding your front foot back so that the shin moves closer to the chest, and so you can do a combination of both. So this might feel like a really nice hip opener stretch here, just on your sit bones using your hands and your foot for a little bit of leverage. For those of you who would rather take a double pigeon, what you're going to do is you're going to slide your right foot across so that the shin is parallel with the front edge of the mat. So we don't want to tuck the heel in. We want the foot further away from the hip so that the knee joint is open. And then set the left foot on top of the knee. Let the left knee be above the right foot. And then you're just going to lean forward here. So this is actually going to get a little bit into both hips. And then wherever you are, let's try to take about 5 more breaths. So we want to spend enough time here that our body does start to give into the pose a bit. This is actually this is a pretty yin stretch in that we're not using effort, we're not like gripping our muscles in any way to get into it, but we're just spending a little time here and letting gravity do the work.
And then carefully coming up. So if you're coming up from the pigeon, from the double pigeon, you're gonna lean out of it. If your hands were behind you, you can walk your feet back. And then let's just switch to the other side. So now we'll put the left foot on the ground and cross the right ankle onto the knee. And going where you did the first side, so maybe we're pressing the chest towards the shin, maybe we're sliding the left foot back to move the shin to the chest, and then holding here. Or we're gonna slide the left foot across the mat, and again, we would like that nice parallel, or I don't know, yeah, parallel shin, I guess. And then we stack shins, so we stack the right foot on the left knee, and the right knee is above the left foot, and the shins are kind of like one above the other. This is sometimes called fire log pose, so you can think of it that way. In yin, this is actually called square pose, so although it's not a perfect square, we kind of want to imagine our legs creating that angle. More like a trapezoid. Five more breaths here. All right, and then carefully moving yourself out of it, be gentle. Lean back and then lengthen both legs out on the mat. Maybe give them a little bit of a shake. Bop them around a bit. And this time we're going to go into Paschimottanasana, but we will make this more of an active stretch. So we're going to flex the feet. We're going to engage and tone the quads. Inhale, reach the arms up. The lower body is toned. The upper body, however, can relax as you drape down over your legs, folding here. Breathe. Two more full deep breaths. And slowly coming up. Maybe bounce the knees a little bit more, and then let's come back to our easy seat. So I will encourage you to move into Shavasana, but let's actually end together from here. So just simply bringing the palms together in front of the heart. Close your eyes for a moment. Turn your focus inward. Maybe notice your breath. Notice how you're feeling here at the end of your practice. And with a single bow of acknowledgement, the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. And this is the point where you can start to make your way to the floor, lowering your back down to the ground. If you'd like to bring your knees into your chest and just like hug them in for a minute, maybe roll them around in a circle or go the other way, give yourself a moment to do that. Happy baby, supine twist, anything that's going to feel really good. And then eventually do lengthen the legs out, come flat, and bring yourself to full relaxation, to corpse pose, where you can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as long as you want, really letting go and completing your practice. I hope you did enjoy this class today. Just a reminder, if you do feel like dropping me $1 or $2 for class, the way to do that is in the description for the video, either Venmo, which is username Namasturm, or there's a PayPal option as well. If not, no problem. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you again sometime soon. Take care. Bye-bye.